Swanglin Show, episode 18. It's Accountability Hour. Joshua P. Dunn in the motherfucking house with me is the return of the Newkleus is back in the building from his
Hello, everyone.
hiatus. He has returned. Kyle, what's up,
Yes.
bro?
What's up, everybody? I'm so thrilled to be back. My voice is still not fully back, but I am good to go for today. I do want to say congratulations to the Cary Blue Devils, who are the 2021 Division 6 OHSA state champions. It was a sight to see. There is an article coming. It's been I basically have to trim it down because I wrote so much to make it something. I don't know. It could end up being something more, but I will have a concise article about the experience to go into the game, and it's going to post today.
Nice. Now, since it is the Swanglin Show and it's always Swanglin time, we're going back to a more basic formula for today. It's looking like it's just me and you, man, and we are missing the conspiracy family today. But as always, gonna drop some hot shit on you today. We're gonna talk about accountability, personal accountability, Kyle.
Yes.
So accountability is a fact. This is by definition, right? It is a fact or condition of being accountable or being responsible, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a topic that doesn't get spoke on as frequently as what it should, especially between men, because it's easy for a lot of people to get caught up in what they got going on in their everyday life and use it to make excuses of why to be unaccountable for certain things.
Yes.
So, do you feel that accountability is something that you have to hold in a high regard in order to be successful?
Yeah. If you have no accountability, then you're not keeping track. You're not, in order to have any like successful business or successful endeavor go, you have to be organized. You have to be accountable, and or it's not going to last. It's not going to be successful. Personal accountability, I think, is important. To set goals and hold yourself accountable to achieve them, or to have a code of ethics, or like a standard of how you're going to conduct yourself, and holding yourself accountable to that, whether it be a good person, good parent, good employee, just a good friend, all that. I think personal accountability is clutch, and you can't be successful without it. If you don't take accountability at some point, you're going to misjudge something because you're placing the blame elsewhere, and right. It's not you'll end up being your own worst enemy.
Now, accountability is more than just I think a lot of people see it as like this really broad concept, but really it's a small thing. You hold yourself accountable for thousands of things and millions of things daily. It's a very small thing.
Yeah.
It sometimes applies on a larger scale if it's a mistake, if you're unaccountable. Now, for me, what I think is one of the major portions of being accountable is showing up is a big thing, but it's more than that as well. So yeah, it also means, being a collaborator and following through to commitments to your colleagues and other things like that too. So what would you say is a time or like an experience that you've had where you've had to like work with other people to solve a problem?
All sorts of work situations. Okay. I put on shows in music and stuff. Like, things never go according to plan. Even leading up to it, like you may have a vendor or you may have someone providing a service, and then they're not going to be able to make it or come through with it. And then you got to adjust on the fly. And, it's actually, that's a big part of it is, being accountable isn't always coming through. It's if you can't come through, holding yourself accountable, properly apologizing, because that goes a long way too. If you can't come through, holding yourself accountable to the people that you couldn't make it up to and apologizing properly. I've saved a lot of business relationships that way. People, that I either, have delivered through before and one time couldn't come through, or, vice versa. Like, all sorts of scenarios like that. But yeah, in the music game, a lot, putting on shows, a lot of things change.
Right. Well, being like collaborative and being open-minded in order to work with other people for like a common thing is a major part of accountability, because you see it a lot in like youth sports programs and stuff like that. Like you said, shout out to the Cary Blue Devil football team when on their state championship win. A lot of people build those accountability skills through sports programs when they're younger, or like doing
Yes.
collaborative work like you're talking about, such as like music or building trades and stuff like that, where you really have to rely on other people to hold you accountable so you can also set that standard for other people and for yourself. Now, another huge deal when it comes to showing accountability, especially in like a job type scenario or like a business deal scenario, you want your either employer or your potential client to see you as accountable, somebody that's going to come through, follow through with what you're supposed to do and get done, right? So in a lot of these
Yes.
scenarios, people want to see and know how you can take like different constructive and unconstructive criticism, negative feedback as well. So tell me about a time, Nuke, where maybe you had received some negative feedback.
Oh, I've received tons of negative feedback on at jobs and stuff, like especially when you're learning a job. Like, it's important to be able, like, I've worked with people at jobs who like thought they knew it all, and like the bosses would tell them like, "Hey, do it this way," and they're like, have their own ways, even though they just walked in the door. And I mean, I don't know. It just, yeah, all sorts of scenarios like that, dude. Just way too many to count. I don't know. It happens everywhere though. But the main thing is to like, I always took it like, as I always believed when people can, like, I always just assume people know more than me. And then you can go from there. And like, for example, like when I first worked in grocery stores and stuff, I wasn't perfect at stocking shelves properly or the proper way to face and stuff. Like, someone has to show you that at first, and so you learn. And then, someone still, is like, hey, make sure this or that, you like, I don't know. I always appreciated and asked people that knew more than me at jobs their opinions, and sought to see how they did things and tried to emulate that. Like who here knows what they're doing, who at my position knows what they're doing, and emulate that until I get to a point where I have my own style of doing it. Maybe I do a little differently. Maybe there is no other different way to do it. There's only one way to do something, but there's a way to be more efficient at it as far as, your pace or something. And, mimicking, like, I've seen factory workers I've worked with that, are faster than others and getting stuff done. And I watch what they do and try to emulate their form and their, just emulate them. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, they take criticism the wrong way. Like, oh, this person is out to get me, or this person is, I don't know. But I don't know. Self-reflection is important, to look in and be like, yes, can I do better? How can, I mean, there is also people that criticize people for just the nitpick. And so once you get to a point of self-reflection, you can realize, okay, this is something I need to work on, or this is something, I don't know. But that takes long time to get to an expertise level of anything, like where you can get to that level. So like, I remember when I first started in music, and I was hitting you up, and a few others in the area, like Sin Beats and Soulstar, and you guys were telling me, like, I was listening, or listening to things, criticisms, and also like tips and advice you'd give me, and I actually applied those to what I was doing, and it actually furthered. I listened to people that knew more than me about what was going on around me, and used that to further my music and to further what I was doing, my brand at the time.
Absolutely. And
like
you gotta be able to like fucking see that and like know that there's knowledge to be had, right? Because like a big deal about like personal accountability is you gotta accept like consequences that are like direct results of your choices, your action, your behavior, owning your own shit. You know what I mean? And not from a business standpoint, but like, you know what I'm saying when I mean owning. Just
like
accepting your
I
own
think
bullshit that you create, whether it's positive or negative. You know what I mean?
I,
That's
being
one of
an
the
adult,
crucial elements in the whole deal.
No, but yeah, you're right. But that, I think personal accountability is like a part of adulthood. Like I don't think you can really be an adult and not have personal accountability. You got bills, you got children, you got I don't know, alimony. You got responsibilities, man. So
responsibilities.
Yeah, so no, but like, yeah, and personal accountability I think is a part of being an adult, dude. And like, I mean, I felt like it was about like when I would have like 23 years old when I was getting out of like would be college age. I left school to do the music stuff, but like it wasn't until I was about 23, my mid 20s, where I like really learned about personal accountability, like taking responsibility for your actions, and actually completely changed my life. Like my life skyrocketed from there. Like a lot of doors opened for me that weren't there before because I took accountability when I didn't come through, and when I did come through, I was always I was accountable, and people respect that more than making excuses, dude. Making excuses is I don't know, something I try not to do.
As fuck.
I mean, there are legit
excuses.
I mean, shit happens, but like making excuses, I mean, that only lasts for so long, dude. And people see that, like your customers will see that, your I don't know, your partners, your friends, like they'll see, that. But if you're genuine, you're genuine.
So, on the Swanglin Show, episode fucking 18, we're talking about personal behavior and we're talking about accountability and shit, right? My guy, the Newkleus, is back in the building, has returned from his hiatus with less gray in his beard. Did you join Just for Men? Are you the owner and the client?
Not yet, dude. If I was doing Just for Men, it would be my own company. I would be the owner too. I wouldn't buy that stuff. Just for Nuke.
Yeah, just for me. Just for me. Hair tinning.
Yeah, it's only for me, dude. Yeah.
Now, when you were at that football game watching these little kids set it off, dude, to win a state championship football game.
Yeah.
You see accountability at a high level out of children on the field.
Yes. Those young men represent our community. We're definitely exemplified personal accountability. I believe the coach Mershman, after the game in the press conference, was talking about that with them, and talking about he put a lot of responsibility on the captains, and like he had positional kind of like leaders, and he put a lot of responsibility and a lot of like stuff on them. And he said that they were he brought that up about them, like they would just get it done. Whatever he asked them, and they would come through with it. If they couldn't, they'd make the best of the situation. And get as close as they could. And there was a specific time in the press conference he did bring that up. So you're right. He expected a lot out of him, and then that I think by putting that on them early on led them to have the confidence to beat a defending state champion like Coldwater.
Well, I think that's awesome that they did come through, get the W. Hopefully, like our friend Young Push, they went and got the Angelo's pizza for the
I,
celebration
oh,
in
I
Cary, Ohio,
imagine. Yeah, there
after
was
they
a
won
lot.
that
Oh yeah,
that championship and they brought that home, right?
yeah.
So
Angelo's was open. Yeah, they were open for business while that was going on. So yeah.
good. They should have been open for business, as of everywhere else should be open for business as well. Because we, on the Swanglin Show, we're encouraging people to be in business and get their hustle on. As always, we're talking about personal behavior and accountability. So I got to say one thing to the listeners of the Swanglin Show, and it's direct relation to personal behavior, and that is if you're doing something and you feel guilty about doing it, you shouldn't be doing it. You need to look inside yourself and know that if you feel a certain type of way about your own behavior, you have to make that change, and you gotta um, make some sacrifices in order to make that change. Otherwise, guess what? You're a bitch. What do you think about that, Newkleus?
It reminds me of an article I read years back by this rabbi, and it was like a Q&A where you could ask the rabbi on this on Chabad, which is a like a Hasidic website. And but the reason why I go to that site, a lot of people do, Jews go, is that it's being that Hasids are so Orthodox, their website has a plethora of Orthodox information to keep kosher to go there. It's a good source for all things Jewish. But someone had asked about was smoking weed, smoking marijuana against the Torah. Was there anything against it in Judaism? And the rabbi put it like this: that there is nothing inherent in it that would be bad, but he compared it to he would hide chocolates from his family, like candy bars and stuff, so his kids wouldn't eat them and he could have them, and he had to lie, which would be technically committing a violation. You're not supposed to lie, and bear false witness and all that and stuff, in order to hide this chocolate. And so he was saying that there's nothing wrong with smoking marijuana, but the fact that you would have to hide it or tell lies about it would be
Yeah, that's
potentially against Torah. So it wasn't about it being bad. It was about the accountability of it, and holding yourself to a standard where you don't violate your code of ethics.
Absolutely.
Even though it technically may not, but going about it a certain way would violate it. So
Yeah, don't violate. Do not
yeah,
violate thine self. If you're listening to the fucking Swanglin Show, episode 18, Newkleus's fucking beard is looking stoic on the Swangler, glistening in the sunlight. You can almost see tints of like fucking red apple color throughout this fucking thing. Dude.
The red.
It's like if you're listening to the Swanglin Show and you make beard oil, we need to strike a fucking deal. Look at that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, do you know? Yeah, dude. We can work out something, man. It's been a while since I've had some beard oil. Not since I lived in Iowa did I have like a plug for anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more of a thing that you could find out there. But what is something that you feel like you could hold yourself more accountable for?
My whole life, dude. I think you can always tighten up, man. I always want to be a better father. I always want to be a better, like a better partner, a better employee. I always want to be a better writer. I think if you want to, it's about tightening up, buckling down, finding the things, your weaknesses, and honing those and trying to do better. I think sometimes we just focus on our strengths and only do those. And I don't know, I try to take the criticism I get from people, and I try to incorporate it and hone, sharpen and sharpen my blade, if you will.
Well, that's good. And I think that, and if I were to like reflect that same question back to myself, is just to be like be more actively committed to my own growth. You know what I mean? To not take little patches and breaks, and to always be more aggressive about locating and finding the faults and being more committed to seeing growth in all the different areas that I want to fucking improve. You know what I mean? So that's like a place that going into, the whole bullshit new year, new me type deal, right? We're not going to do that shit on the Swanglin Show, but we pretty much are going to take every day as an opportunity to try and do better, be better,
Yes.
help people,
Yes.
and make some shit motherfucking shake. Unless you're a little son of a bitch and you don't do shit like that, but you should. So I think so far we've dropped some really good science about just the act of holding yourself accountable. And we know that the people that listen to the Swanglin Show are not suckers. They're holding themselves accountable. But we're here to let you know that you can go hard every day. If you need to pick me up, the information is out here to get you refocused and get you back together and keep you going forward. Going forward. That's twice that I just said that same phrase, going forward and going forward. Like the college football playoffs that's about to happen. 2021. Yes. Games start popping off. What is it? New Year's Eve. We got Michigan versus
Georgia.
Alabama versus the perennial motherfucking underdog, University of Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yep.
Coached by the old Luke Fickell, former Ohio State coach. Now, we're going to go ahead on the Swanglin Show for the first time ever, I believe. We're going to make college football playoff predictions right now. Kyle, who plays in the championship game and who wins?
It's going to be Bama, Michigan, and Bama's going to win.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to my own self, and I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to say it's going to be Bama, Georgia in the rematch.
Nice.
And Georgia wins the national.
You know what? I would
redemption
love to
story.
See that.
That's what I want to see. That's what
I would love
to
see that.
Now, do you think that, okay, so the way that they formulated down to the Final Four this year, there's a couple, snags in that process where you're like, oh, okay, like how is there two teams from one conference being represented to play for the championship is kind of suspect in its own right. Now, do you think an expanded playoff system will ever happen, if happen soon?
Yes, it is going to happen soon. They're going to go to like either 6 or 8. And honestly, I'd like to see them go to 16 and have all the conference champions and then like the next best. An allowance for some of the smaller 5 conference, like if one of those non-conference champion like meets a certain ranking, could still get it. Kind of like how Notre Dame gets in as an independent and BYU or whatever. But yeah, having the next best 5, I think there's 11 conferences. I don't know, but next 4 or 5, whatever it is. And then seeding them, however, like how they do the NCAA basketball tournament and go from there. But I think it is going to go to 8. I don't like the idea of buys in college football. But I think professional, it's one thing, but I think like there's a lot of injuries and stuff. And if you're having a lower seed play, a top seed, like, I don't know, it just, they're not playing for money yet. So like, they're not playing for big contracts. So I'd like to see the same amount of games being played by everyone to get to the path to the championship.
I agree. I think that they should expand the tournament in some way, shape, or form. So if you're a member of the college football playoff system and you're listening to this right now, you know what you're doing is wrong. You know that one of these other fucking conference championships deserve representation when it comes to playing for the national championship. You're going to slide a team like Cincinnati in there because they're undefeated. What about some of these other conference championships that teams that are conference champions this year? There's several of them that could give Cincinnati a real run for their money, if not knock them right off the fucking pedestal.
Well, there's teams that are like, I think Ohio State could beat Cincinnati if they play, but Ohio State didn't earn the right to be in that tournament. And so it is what it is. Like, I think Cincinnati deserves to be there. I think they punched their ticket, and I'm going to be rooting for them to win it all. That's my team. I'm picking I'm rooting for, they're them being from Ohio and Luke Fickell being a former Buckeye, and me being an Ohio State fan. But do I think they're going to? Probably not. I'll be rooting for them every second of it, though. Hoping they do, though.
Yeah. I'll be rooting for him as well, just because I like the underdog story. So, University of
Yep.
Cincinnati, you know, we're down for you. Shout out to
Yep.
Cincinnati in general. Shout out to the conspiracy family, CJ De Niro, King of the Wing, representing
CJ.
Cincinnati. You know, he's hyped to see the Bearcats up in there. So maybe they'll shine some sun down on our good people down here in Southern Ohio and let them get that championship. Now, speaking of Southern Ohio area, just south of there, man, they just got fucking pummeled with some big ass, one of the biggest recorded tornadoes of all time. They're saying that this thing sprung up around near the Jonesboro, Arkansas area, where we have very large presence, and
Yeah, a lot of family.
marinated Mitch from the family is out in this area, Jonesboro, Arkansas, and this touched down around there and stretched and went all the way as far north as some areas of Kentucky. Nearly like they're saying the body count's at least to 80 at this point, and I'm sure there'll be more to be discovered.
Yeah, they're still trying to find more, more rescue more people that are trapped and this and that. It's not good. Horrible thing.
When we get our good brother Marinated Mitch, who's out today with some potential sickness problems, you know, he'll be back on.
Get well soon. Yeah,
and we'll have him share his experience of what he saw during this crazy ass tornado. But we want to say rest in peace to all these people in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And people in Arkansas and the other areas affected by natural disasters such as a tornado. Fuck your whole life up, man. That shit ain't nothing to play with. So it seems like things like this happen all the fucking time, and like, you know, it kind of reminds us and grounds us that, you know, even though humans do have a stranglehold on the world and what happens, when it comes down to it, we ain't fucking shit. You know
yeah, Mother Nature.
Make today count, because Helen Hunt could pull up with this fucking big ass fucking tornado and fucking twist you up.
Yeah. You know, one thing about this one in particular, though, is the fact it happened in December. And tornado season's usually in the spring and fall when the weather's changing. And so for it to happen in December like this, it's because the weather warmed up and like the storm was coming through. It was just kind of like a perfect storm, if you will, for this to come down the way. Like, because if this is not tornado season, but this is one of the worst tornadoes, like probably top 20, the top 15, or maybe top 10 all time when it's all said and done. I don't know, but this is a really serious storm that happened. And I seen a map. I woke up in the middle of the night and I seen a weather map from the Weather Channel, like the Kentucky area. And this was covering the whole state and then some in the Tennessee. The storm was just I don't know, like horrible, just vicious. And Mayfield, Kentucky, there's a lot of pictures there. You can see drone footage online. Just Google Mayfield, Kentucky tornado, and you will see that place got leveled.
Now, we really don't have very many strong ties to Kentucky in my life, but my dad's family's from that area many decades ago. I know in your direct family there's some ties to Southern Ohio as well. So there's been multiple times, you know, where we've traveled through that area and stopped at restaurants and been all up Bowling Green, Kentucky,
Bowling Green got hit.
And Bowling
Green got hit really hard. There you go. There's pictures of Bowling Green getting hit hard.
We've been in them areas multiple times, you know. We stopped at little diners in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and, you know, when we're on the road traveling, and
Paducah,
Bowling Green and Florence and Paducah, and roll through Western Kentucky University area, campus area, and really get out here, and we've been in all these areas and fucked up by these tornadoes, and hopefully they'll be able to bounce back and recover and rebuild back up. And so things happen sometimes that are outside the scope of personal accountability, like a fucking tornado. Sometimes your life can get twisted up, dude, like a doobie, and just smoked instantly by the world. And some people say it's like karmic law, to where like, oh yeah, something must have happened to cause this, or fucking harp or whatever people fucking want to say that shit too, you know what I mean? So it's just a reminder that, like, you really, if you're listening to the Swanglin Show, don't be a fucking bitch, man. Make today count, because literally you could get fucking roasted by a tornado tomorrow. or, you know, you could lose that source of income, or you could fucking lose your best friend, or you could lose your family. You can lose anything in a fucking
Dude,
split moment. So you gotta make sure that you try and cherish this shit going forward into the 2022, which is a couple weeks away. I'm really looking forward to hitting the ground running, getting a fresh start with members of the conspiracy family, with goals, with
yes.
different things that we're going to set up and accomplish for that year, both in business and personal, and all these different other sectors of life that we're about to dominate and motherfucking crush, right? Because we're keeping it accountable. On the Swanglin Show is episode 18. If you've been listening in on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Podcasts or whatever, make sure that you're hitting the fucking button to get the notifications that we'll be dropping episodes every Thursday so we can get them straight to your phone directly. Or you can hit us up, swanglin.com. Check out this dope ass article that's coming from my guy, Kyle, Newkleus Holsinger, about his wonderful experience and his relative feelings towards seeing his old squad just fucking dominate and win a state championship football game. It's going to be a beautiful thing to check out if you're into athletics, or you just want to reminisce a little bit about maybe your own history out here playing sports. Maybe you was the kid on the field that had the special first baseman's glove and you want to get back out there in your yard and tear your hamstring and fucking fuck the checkup because you want to fucking get back out here and be athletic once again. So keep your eyes peeled for that dope article. Coming up soon, we got some shit coming where we're going to be doing a recap of the year 2021 for episode 21 of the Swanglin Show. It's perfect the way that it worked out, and it's going to be dope. We're going to have members of this bona fide fucking damn near cult that is the conspiracy family. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have them in the fucking building. We're going to talk about some of the coolest shit that's happened over the course of 2021, both in the entertainment world, politics world, and more. Because it's only right if we do it that way, and also keep your holiday spirit up and become festive, you little son of a bitch, for the fucking conspiracy family holiday special that's coming on the fucking Swanglin Show in 2021. I'm gonna have my guy Kyle in the motherfucking building for these shows as my co-host riding along with me for the Swanglin.com movement that we got going. So if we could wrap it today up, we're going to give him, Kyle, one solid piece of advice on how to do one thing small to hold yourself accountable today. What can they do?
Do that. Do something. Pick something that you want to change. Something small. Say, hey, I want to get an extra load of laundry done a day, or I want to save back an extra $25 a week. Set the goal, speak it into existence. If you will it is no dream.
Now, that is
state of it or if you will.
What the fuck did you just say? Repeat that quote for the listeners of the Swanglin Show.
So I said, if you will it is no dream. Theodore Herzl, State of Israel, if you will.
Okay, that's a very nice quote. We like that on the Swanglin Show when someone comes out with a nice little piece of knowledge like that. It's just like when you drop a quote, it's just like, boom, there it is. So I'm going to drop one as well. And there's one that says, the price of greatness is responsibility, from Winston Churchill. And I think
very nice. Very nice.
No matter where we go on the Swanglin Show, episode 18, it's been Joshua P. Dunn, as always, representing 5 wins in a row, Miami Dolphins, and my man Newkleus is in the building. But here's the ultimate fucking thing. You have to look at Winston Churchill and look at these quotes, and then you got to say that Winston Churchill was Swanglin, right?
I would agree that he definitely swangled, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you like him or not, dude, he would have had to have been swangling to have done what he did.
Like, Winston fucking Churchill is definitely fucking Swanglin. What would Swanglin be without Winston Churchill? That's where we're going to leave you today. Think about this. Where would Swanglin be without fucking Winston Churchill?